Alrighty.
What are you guys talking about? 1, 2, 3. What was bouncing?
Lulu.
Oh, you're still on Lulu.
No, I'm not. Rosalia ripped the Band-Aid off.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, who are you?
Oh,
Hey, pot.
just
Boy.
Good afternoon.
just getting toasted. Yeah.
Split slept.
Yes, sir. We had toast both ways. Great.
Did you butter it?
I was gonna say peanut butter and
I was
jelly.
about to say
Ew.
that too.
Ew. No peanut
The
butter.
long way.
Yeah, the long way. I saw that shit, dude.
Had the whole sandwich.
Yeah, it was edge to edge.
I like my peanut butter and jelly on hot dog buns. Is Neil in here? Neil's not in here, is he?
Hey Potter, can you look at QBTS?
No. In a minute. All right. We're live on YouTube. Where's Ivy at? Ivy. No shit.
I'll call Alex the same way.
Ivy's smoking Kush right now.
I just missed my damn exit on the video.
Damn it. All right, let's go ahead and it's 3:14, so let's go ahead and get this closed. Put on some clothes, and let's go. I'm just pulling up the YouTube chat. Alex, I used your. You should look at the YouTube thumbnail. It's beautiful. All right. Okay, so first things first, y'all. We can start looking, and if anybody will post the earnings chart for next week, I don't want to look for it. So, but we're gonna take a look at SPY. Right, obviously made that punchback on a 24-hour time frame. There is no punchback on the weekly, right? So, I think it's a little disappointing that we're closing up against the wall, but it's not the end of the world, right? We can just simply push off of that floor and continue moving higher. QQQ, right? Same thing. Did squeak out and today was the third day in a row. I mean, now it's starting to really look like we could see some potential pullbacks because at the end of the day, this is what we broke out from. So there's room for speculation for a move down to 524. But on the weekly, you tapped the top of the weekly candle, right? And so we are without a play, in other words, at least on the highest time frame. Or higher time frame. IWM, right? Really attempting to go and secure. And this one's like the Qs, right? It's hit its wall. So those of you guys in SPY and stuff like that, definitely a situation I'd probably hedge into. Built a box, so we don't have as much information. We do have two major rejections off of the top of that box, right here. And here's the box right there. And here is where we fall, right? So gap fill to the downside as well. It's an interesting setup because we're kind of stuttering while SPY and other things have ripped up. Nothing's really held. I find that kind of interesting. A lot of retests have happened, a lot of bounces back up, but then you lose that. Apple obviously being an example, Qs, and IWM just sitting sideways, while SPY obviously punched back mechanically through the box right here, and as of right now is trying to come back down and close under the very wall that we broke out from. So what is the mood going into next week? Right, we've got last week of January already. Good fucking Lord. Excuse my language. Huh?
So tell me about it. This month fucking went by like a blink.
It did, but it was a good month. It was a good month. So, new home sales on Monday. Not really something that we react to very often. Tuesday coming in with CB consumer confidence. Yeah, whatever. Obviously, that's coming in at 10 a.m., so it's not something that we're necessarily swinging into for a pre-market reaction. But so, and this is going to hopefully paint the picture here, right? We do have FOMC, right? Statement, federal funds rate, advanced GDP, quarter over quarter, unemployment rate, our claims coming in on Thursday morning, right? Both of these. And then finishing out for a pretty high data week, we've got core PCE price index and employment cost index. Yeah, let's take a look at it in a second. So with that being said, right, we can paint a picture in our minds looking at SPY, looking at how it ripped, right, leaving a vulnerable, soft underbelly for us to potentially prey upon. That sounds a little creepy, but it is what it is, right? Looks pretty good. If we end up breaking down, or because we fell so fast, if we can find something to pull ourselves back up from, we have nothing to fight. However, Monday, right, after every big expansion, a lot of the times comes contraction. So we look at the lack of data for Monday and Tuesday, and a lot of the times the headlines read, traders, or the market sits sideways as traders await Powell's speech. If we rip and we start moving all in front of it, then a lot of the times the reaction to the speech will be muted. So we could build into this next week, or if we can carry on. But again, I look at SPY and it's like, okay, but then I look at the Qs and IWM and it's painting a picture, of a basically you're sitting where you need to go up and where you could potentially go down, and you're squashed in between the two. So that's going into next week. Next week is also going to be an exciting earnings week. Monday, so these are the things that you could potentially be swinging into. SoFi, AT&T, don't know what that is. Bank of Hawaii, which the only reason I know about them is because they dumped a lot one time. More excitingly, you have Nucor. I know some of us have played that one in here. Some of these names are, sorry, Coco. Some of these names are recognizable. AG and C, brought that one up before. But then we really kick into the rest of the week. Boeing, GM, Lockheed Martin, Royal Caribbean Group, all JetBlue, Cisco Systems. And we've looked at some of these. Boeing had a pretty good move today. And then Tuesday, right? We just kick off. The big earnings are Tesla, Apple, Intel, Visa, Meta, Microsoft. Big names coming in this week. Now, tread lightly, right? Don't be a wuss. And shy away from a good setup. If it's a good setup, it's a good setup. And you guys saw how Schwab worked out. And it wasn't even earnings, but toast. A setup is a setup is a setup. So we don't need to do all of this tonight, but this weekend, we definitely should. And I think what I'm going to do is host this inside of the Discord, and then we'll stream it out, I guess onto YouTube. But I want everybody else kind of scanning through, and we can discuss these things together. So you can share your screen, and we can kind of hive mind our way through this pretty big earnings. And that means this is also just a good charting exercise for everybody who is involved. All right. So we got all that taken care of, right? We got a good idea of what we're stepping into this week. Huge data, huge earnings. So there's going to be movement. Place yourself carefully. All right. Now, just to recap, the trade from overnight, and dude, hold on one second. What are we sitting at right now? So Toast was a swing trade that we took, and I don't know what percentages you guys hit on the downside, but we took this for a swing trade. And really quickly, we're going to recap what happened here. Now, we have a box, and we have a bit of an anomaly. Down there below, I can see there's a little box that was built, and it lost its box. Again, that happens ever so often. But we finally did reclaim the floor. And yesterday, or this week, after a really, well, no, it was yesterday, after a really convincing bounce, right, off of where we've held ourselves before, but not only just bouncing, but flipping over that cost basis where it opened and pushing out, right? And our goal here was to obviously try to get into that empty space. I think this, I mean, fucking good enough, right? It didn't tap the floor all the way up on the hourly, but it did do exactly what we were looking for. So again, we took a punch back into empty space, candle close above the wall, right? And it was closer to the bell, you know, it popped out and we were already up 100+%. And then at the top, when we went and kind of tapped, you know, right around that target, I went ahead and grabbed the 39.50 puts, and those paid off. Those I think were, you know, around, above 100%. So really good play. This also could potentially be setting. Every time I see something like this, I immediately say channel. So now, not that I'm necessarily like, I'm not saying we need to, you know, go crazy, but there is a trigger and there is empty space to the downside, so we could butter the rest of the buns with toast. All right, that's it.
Oh,
Maybe resume. All right, so if you have any requests, Potter, I now have rent money thanks to you. Well, fuck yeah. Also, very scary that you put your rent money into that, but
don't blow it.
yeah, just use it to pay rent. Yeah, if you guys have any requests, please drop those in the bubble live trading chat, and we will take a look at those. I'll try to quickly. What contracts did you make, Scuba? Or what contracts did you take? 40s?
I took the a couple on the way up were like 300-400%, and then on the way down I got the 39.50s at like 3 cents.
Woo!
And then I kept two runners all the way down to, I think the last one actually sold at 45 cents, so that was probably 1,500%.
That was amazing. Yeah,
Pretty wild.
I was being modest with the 100. I actually was not present when it hit the low, but it's actually still kind of creeping here. Where do we start for beginners? Go to the educational Is it Marcella? That was my stepmom's name. She was a really nice lady. Shout out to Marcella if you're out there. Probably not. All right, so let's see. 11, 11, 11, 3. QBTS. Which way, Cade? Which way are you looking on this one?
I got it going up.
Okay. As of right now, you got a second
I don't
wick
like
out.
how it went and rejected today, but
Oh yeah, you're not cooking with Crisco anymore. After this candle, man, it's almost like when I see this, right? I'm gonna throw that away. I see this, right? Which means you might have an even better opportunity to trade this, right? Because this is gonna set up like a box there, and then you potentially are about to punch down here, right? 585, and then I would be looking right around $4, maybe 420. Otherwise, the only other option is you completely engulf that candle Monday. So, Starbucks, 24-hour, nice move, nice hold. So you are building right off of that floor, and it looks like, yep, the first green candle. So I really mean that, the first green candle to your left. We can see it tap that floor. Now I really can't see much else. We'll take a look at the weekly really quick. Big green engulfing candle, right? It's basically sitting right up against the previous resistance, right? And we've only moved through it once, but it still stands. And that's 99, right? So closing up against it, not bad. That makes for, and again, is there a box? No, right? So we could be potentially looking for a 103, and then we'll move down to the 4-hour. Okay,
They have
so
earnings next week too.
they do. That's right. So you're fighting with cost basis right now, right? And then the much larger structure above you is here. And this is tough charting, right? Where you have all that structure just sitting. And so for earnings, that catalyst can roll over these boxes and you could get a really big move. And that's where the weekly, kind of comes in. So I mean, when I look at it, is there like a clear setup necessarily? Not really. I kind of have to fight a little bit to get it. But when you just have price points that look like this, then those are the targets. And funny enough, well, not all the way, but that almost looks like a 50% market self. But I would say 103, on earnings. But at the same time, you've also made extraordinary moves up. This could be a good bailout point, right? If they don't produce the numbers, because this is the first earnings since, or one of the first earnings after the mainstream boycott of Starbucks. So the numbers are really going to count here, and if they come back swinging and things are looking up, I mean, that could be punched through on the 24-hour. And yeah, you could go and see that next target. And again, when you don't have a box, you're just aiming at the top. That's 107.50. So I would definitely be looking to the downside at 93.50. Baba. That's pretty much doing what Cade, you asked me about this one. Because yeah, Baba's hard to fucking trade, but nice punch back on the 24-hour. It does look like there's a lower time frame. Yep, there it is. Little box right there. And you crept on the floor. So, you know what? Man, it's hard not to see a potential rise all the way back up to 94.27. Fuck. Oh, God, I felt it. Oh, I felt the tingle. No. No, Baba.
For those of you that are new here,
Don't
it's
worry
a good
about it.
thing.
All right. Let's see. $94 contracts for 54 cents. Or no, they're not.
He's gonna do it.
56 cents. Gap fill 92. Weekly. Oh, fuck. Oh my God.
Do it.
Oh
my God. Affirm.
Oh,
Yeah, what's
BA.
the weekly?
do it faster.
90.44. God damn, that's a juicy ass candle though.
Oh, was it as good for you?
Habibi.
Fuck. All right, so
Is that Monday at the open?
fuck. All right. So I'm thinking 95s, possibly. Tariff
Pricey.
they're a little pricier than I'd like them to be, but we're taking it on a Friday, going over the weekend. No, you know what? I'm gonna take my shot. We'll just maybe take. It's not like it has a trigger, but that's the thing about Baba, is you don't get a chance. You either I mean,
You
right?
don't get triggers until like after hours.
Yeah, everything is done in after hours, unless you're like staying up all night watching China, like, but then again, you still can't react, So, I mean, I see a punchback, I see the gap, I see the flat wall, I see 94.
96 too far.
No, because I think if it goes and hits this wall, it goes past it. And I think 95.50 is reasonable. So I'm going to go with 95s. This is going to price some of you guys out. It's not going to allow you to compound. Make a good decision, okay? This is something I can afford. This is something other people in here can afford. And maybe there's another stock in the... There's too many of these fuckers for you to just... I'm sure I'll probably look at like Baidu and be like, you know what? No. Fuck, what a rip. Weekly. God damn. Yeah, that one looks like it's going to go to 92. Baidu, Baba, PDD. JD, there's one. Oh, see, that one looks good. Hold on. I'm about to invade mainland China, dude.
How do you say that in Mandarin?
Bing chilling. I don't know.
Cue racism.
Well,
Definitely got to be a little bit. Just a sprinkle.
I call it racial awareness.
Whatever you got to do to sleep tonight.
Oh my god.
Isn't that what Elon called it?
Oh my no. I hate that guy, so it makes me clear, dude. Don't you know how this works? All right. What was the other one?
JD.
JD, that's right. Okay, JD. Oh,
That is.
that's
deep.
not it.
Look at how clear that thing looks.
Oh, so clear.
Delicious.
About to go to China for real. It's probably in Chinese, so I can't find it.
I'm about to pull your card.
No. You gave me a pass.
Aren't you Korean, dude?
You're looking for an ETF on that.
Close enough.
YINN is a good one.
A little bit of Chinese too.
Why? Wait, what? Why what?
YINN.
Yin. Yeah, that's so much clearer.
I've played this one quite a bit. I had a big return on it last year.
It's tough, man. This is a tough one. 3167. I'm gonna stick with what I got, but yeah. All right. Anyway, that one took longer than expected. All right.
You're just doing Baba 95s this week.
Yeah. This week.
Yeah.
Are you in the future, buddy?
Today.
Full part.
Baba 95s for
Full
today.
port. All right. I had made a whole speech here, you know, but okay. Where did you hit? It's an old wall. You know what I think is happening here? You're stalling. When is earnings on this bastard? It just had earnings that's November. When is earnings for shop? Does anybody know? Because it doesn't have a date. I think somebody said it had earnings soon. And with that, I still stand by that same target. But I also know that this could be that, pop up and down before earnings. So, I mean, it still looks good on the 24-hour and the weekly. What is it?
211.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of ways, but... Okay, so this green candle, that floor 109, that's what needs to be recovered. That's what you hit on the weekly. Again, it's not a super duper clear setup. But you did punch back, you moved up. Really see what's there. The only thing I see is a box and a cost basis that got punched through twice. I guess it's just low volume enough that still matters. And then channel.
Someone said February 12th is the earnings for a shop.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I preferably with all the volume underneath you, you just pull back to 106 and kind of shoot sideways. But that one, after bailing back underneath 107, I'd be on standby for that. Tesla down. That doesn't look good. It's got earnings next week. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I see it. Do you guys see it? Hold on. I'm not done. Let me cook.
It's very expensive.
Will they get cheaper?
Now it makes sense. I was just looking at those contracts. Earnings.
I see a $399, $400 target to the downside. The only thing that could stop you when you're closing red against it is that wick. That's like a perfect box right there. It's not a box, but like it literally looks like the skeleton of one.
Let's grab some 22s for SoFi for Monday.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Mara, oof, yeah. So you popped out. You hit the imbalance on Mara, and then you got pulled back underneath. So whatever's going to happen on Mara is likely not going to happen today, right? That's not the kind of candle close that I want. Now I did like it, but I only like it if it has a candle close outside of 2063. So looking at this one going into the weekend, if you're looking at the upside, again, you're relying on crypto here. So, maybe even go look at the chart on Bitcoin, but 1963, and you could be coming right back down. But otherwise, this also could just be a range, and it just could be stalling. So underneath 1987, that's where we could look down and maybe even, for a bounce. But this is 3 times. So either you're taking a premature shot down or you're waiting for the upside. TD. I think this has earnings soon, right? Man, I tell you what, that made a move already. Yeah. Not right now. Thank you. So for earnings, I mean, you have a wall, right? 83.42. You pulled back from it, but you haven't lost anything, right? And it seems like it's being supported by this old top. So as long as you're sitting here, and again, you do have earnings coming soon, you do have empty space underneath you. So underneath that floor, be looking down at least towards the open 80 and 79.69. If it holds in the space before earnings, then you might have a good scenario where you could take this to both sides. And I think that's where this is a factor, right? It either breaks out and 86 is your target, or it breaks down and 79.80 is your target. So Wojiang Riqing Ni. I will invade you in China. Chinese.
Beautiful. That is beautiful.
Wojiang Riqing Ni.
How do you say I love you?
I'll invade your crevices.
Oh my god. Get him out of here. So if you're playing this down and I don't know, Poop Bandit no TP, where you're trying to, I sure wish I knew your real name, in moments like these, but with all that empty, probably, Chris, it's hard to ignore that, Chief. So if you are playing this to the downside, is it Chris? Oh, is it Chris? Oh shit.
Focus.
No. But it's really, I don't mean to say no, it's just, I can't help it. It looks like it's coming back down, and it could come back down just as easy as it went up. So, yeah, man, there's room for speculation for sure. And then underneath 441.50, yeah, downside. No TP. All right, Haas upside earnings play. Yeah, thanks for including that. Weekly floor, empty space above. So 62 is automatically a potential target here. 60 as well. And then to the downside, you're hovering on a very small box cost basis. So with that, I think you got tension, right? You don't have a volume filled stock. You also need to explore, does it move on earnings? It sure does there. Yeah, it did a pretty good job there. That's not bad. That's fucking phenomenal. That's trash. That's good. So mostly good. So I would say that, yeah, that's not bad. When is that? I might have to take part in that. What? I took my wallet.
Can you look at spot?
Yeah.
Look at JetBlue for earnings too, even though you're gonna say it's garbage.
It's in my jacket or something. In the checker jacket. Yeah, so I might have to take a look at that one as well.
Haas is 220 for earnings.
Okay. I'm putting spot in the channel for you. All right, real quick. IWM, we just did Baidu, so same thing with that one, dude. Right? I see a floor target of 89.40, so pretty close there. IWM is a 220. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's you're shooting. You said for next week, next Wednesday. Yeah, you better you better get a big ass move. I mean, if they're cheap as fuck, but I mean, that's suspicious as fuck, isn't it? Look at that. You could strangle this for sure, but yeah, you know. Yes, yes. All right. Trying to move quickly here. EA. Yeah, still same target. I think you tap 114.27, and then look for a bounce. That's the only where the only place I would touch it. I don't think it's a bad idea to bounce though. All right, you gapped up to the cost basis up above. That is the next high, unfortunately. And so you need to look down and see what you're holding, right? And so you're failing right now on holding cost basis, but you haven't lost enough, right? It's going to be all the way down here on the 15. I think you're literally building a box on cost basis, which again doesn't happen all the time. But I'd be looking at anywhere under 1750 for a pullback and retest of 1726, where you could hopefully pop back up and punch through that box. But otherwise, I mean, this would be a crazy place to build a box, but it is possible. All right, shop. Oh, whoops, spot. Weekly. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, this is all-time highs. Yeah. So again, to anybody who ever asks if it is all-time highs, that is my weak area. That is the one area that my strategy does not thrive in. So I can tell you about channels that can help, right? And we use, these channels are accurate. So I could give you a 540 target, right? But other than that, you broke out. You got a candle close against the red wick. It looks good. It has earnings, so it has a catalyst to get it where it needs to go. So I don't think it's a bad setup at all. Uber. 3 taps off the top. Earnings next week. That is called stalling. Now, this could be just setting up, and this is kind of the way that I would be focused on what's in front of me, right? So we've got a box here, empty space above. We've got a box here, right, and a box below. We've got 3 taps off of the same top, right? And then we have a channel that's been broken. So that means I should be able to find an uptrend. I did. Now, that is, again, limiting. It does not have to be that you can break right out of that. But I could see looking to here, right? All that time, I could see you chopping. And what that would do is open up that it would give you its timing in this sense. But with this rejection here, you could end up back there and then build, right? Still got earnings coming. And then start maybe building up. And then on earnings day, try and shoot up. Yeah, but you have empty space, you have a trigger, and then beyond that, right, it's like that's a 24-hour box, and then you have a floor that's already being retested at 77, so it doesn't really offer like the empty space that I like to see. And then on the downside, right, there's your box below this, so if earnings shoots you down, I think this channel comes into play. And 62, 64 would be a target. So look, you see how that kind of look, that's the earnings date. And you can see the targets literally and how structurally that's actually pretty fucking cool, right? This is a good example. But I am, but you have to make sure, Taryn, that fits your risk. That's a little bit more expensive than what we usually buy. And I can still compound into those, but if you can't, or if anybody else who's listening can't, I wouldn't. Baba and Chinese stocks they are, even with this strategy, it's tough. It still works. Like we just saw Baba punch back through that box, but boy, I tell you what, that thing likes to, I would actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. Might have to hedge.
I'm gonna hedge with Taiwan.
Oh my God. These are still expensive. $86 is my worst case scenario. So I can't even, I'd have to almost fucking use that stupid ETF.
Telling you, man, Taiwan.
Jesus, those are fucking more expensive than. I'm gonna do. I don't know about that, man. You know what? I'm just gonna raw dog it.
Yeah, either works or doesn't.
Yeah, I guess I could use K. Let me see. I'll check K-Web. At 29.50s. Those are better. Yeah, I'll do K-Webs. 29s. I'm not straddling this though. Just buying a little bit to the downside. You almost have to, but yeah. Let me see something here. Great potential. All right. Spot ABBV upwards. 24-hour, not big fan. Weekly, you haven't grabbed onto anything. 4-hour, yeah. So because you have such a and you have a lot of wicks coming off of it, but that right there and its reaction to that floor tells me everything. That's what needs to be reclaimed. This is what needs to be punched through, and that's 173. The overall setup on this is not my favorite. It looks like a lower time frame downtrend. That's probably easily translated to the overall potential downtrend, which would be like that. So you still have a chance of potentially going down more. Yeah, I took K-Web as a hedge there, folks. New upside above the wick. Did I do that one? I mean, yeah. So as you're moving through, it's showing you that it's kind of lacking in volume, and it is wildly enough this small itty bitty structure that you're fighting with. So 1250, yes. You can go down and see it's literally chopping in between the two of them. So don't be surprised, right, if it comes back down for more volume. And I would assume, looking at where this structure is at, that could be here, empty space, retest, build another box, and then punch back and try and shoot out. So
Potts, what did you take on K-Web to the downside?
29s for next week.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I like how he's picked the name Potts. It's, the variations are my favorite. SoFi. All right. So this is earnings going into next week. Does it have? It does. At least there it does. Okay. SoFi. Jesus. Good Heavenly Father.
Gonna smoke on earnings.
Is that the world's largest box?
That's what I have.
It's hard not to put that. Fuck. Hold on. Let me cook. Fuck.
I put 22s, and I think it could go to 24.
What did I say? Bounce off the fucking floor. Weekly. Punchback. What's above you in the most recent price action? Nothing. 24-hour. Oop. Discount code. 2159 is a potential target there. And I see something else. Hot diggity dog.
I took 15s for some hedges.
Empty space, most recent price action. So let's look at what that looks like. 2 hour, 4 hour. Punch down, wall. Interesting. I mean, it kind of looks like I mean, you could look at this box right here. That's trash. That could easily be dumped into. You know what? Fuck it. Not fuck it, but how's the contracts?
Not bad for we got high IV though.
Jesus. So 1450s. Those are 10 cents. I mean, whatever. Okay. That's at 2150.
You buying PDD?
No, SoFi. I mean, I got Baba, but not PDD. So 2150 is up and 1450 is down. I'll shoot my shot. It's low risk enough that I don't. Obviously, I'm gonna buy less of the down upside. I'm not gonna go number to number, but yeah, equal dollar amounts on both sides. I'll keep it low risk. So
The 2150's up and 1350's down.
yeah. The only thing that I don't feel great about,
22 up, you said, right?
yeah, is the reactions on earnings are not always the best. But we'll see what we get. It might be beneficial that we have these throughout the rest of the week, though, because it looks like you could continue moving through that move. It likes to move after earnings. So, all right. Yep. Zim. Okay, so you tap that high green candle. You're in between two things. So I again stand by type vibes here. Tapping off the top of the box, right? You still have a box above you. You could go and hit empty space. So if you're looking to the upside, you're looking at 13 or 1735. It does look like there's a channel here as well, like that. So yeah, I mean it's pinched, if you will, for now, which is typically the start of some tension building. So all right, we got a couple of minutes here. Target. Listen, this thing is still creeping, and it almost feels like it wants to. And the longer it does, that's fine. But kind of a weak pullback here. You need to build past that, clear your wick, and go to cost basis. And that at 140 is where we can start looking at a 145 target. But I know earnings isn't like that close, but when you look at how Target does, I mean, don't talk to this thing about too much chop because it'll murder you. Look at that. Big rip on earnings, volume fades out, fade, grind, earnings, volatility added, and then the chop kills it. And then you really don't pick a direction. Earnings fires off, kill it. Right? Earnings fires off, kill it. So I would imagine as we get closer to earnings, and my target there is still 152. So that would be just patience for me. So
Wait, which SoFi are we buying? Are we buying puts or calls?
it's too late now, brother. It's 4 o'clock. I bought both. I don't think this is a life-changing play, folks. Just an FYI. Next week, I'm more excited about midweek than I am about SoFi. I didn't load the boat on it. That and Baba.
No ETF plays, right, into Monday?
I haven't. I don't think so, man. Next week we're probably gonna see the prices of things go crazy anyway. But I mean, if you want to place bets, like based on SPY pulling back underneath its breakout level, or IWM sitting up against its downtrend in a box, like that tension's set to break. But I could still see another 24-hour candle sitting right here. I mean, the end of the week or midweek, is where I kind of want to position myself. So I don't have, or rather, I don't see anything other than cues. You could speculate for sure on some downside with the 1-2-3, 1-2-3, but this one just as easily could bounce and next week go punch through and try and go punch through this box. So is there a signal on ETFs? No, not from me. Right? At all. Is there room for speculation due to the potential setup? Sure. But you got to decide what you can afford. Downside, I think it would be 524.61. Upside is 536. Okay.
And we're probably gonna chop off Monday too.
Listen, Monday, yeah. And I hope that, especially those of you who did make profits today, I hope you guys, at least have a sense of peace right now where like you can feel, and if you do feel this way, pat yourself on the back, but like we know where the volume is at, right? Next week, everybody should be focused on when the catalyst is. So Tuesday, swinging into Wednesday, right? If we can find, and this is going to be the goal, because you do have to tread lightly in these scenarios, right? On Tuesday or even on Monday, if we can find contracts that are priced decent, I mean, I would prefer them being because we can pick what most people would figure as being outlandish targets. There's no way targets. But we know that these type of events and with tension, right? I mean, there's setups on both. Take a look at this. So the question is not for me if we move, but where, right? So me being patient, I just want to make sure that my shot is worth it. I know that I can make money this week. I know there's a lot of earnings this week. And we'll discuss that further on Sunday. But if you're patient and you pick your shots, this week could be really big. And so I'm not gonna try to force anything personally. And I'm not saying just because you asked, you are, but I'm just being patient, right? So if you want to speculate, speculate. If you can find something that fits your script, yes, then do that. Yeah.
Did you go back to XCOM? You were like on it, but didn't do it, I think.
I did it mentally. You didn't get that message mentally?
Yep, my bad, bro.
Yeah, damn, bro. We gotta connect. All right. No homo.
We gotta hit up the special ed together.
Oh my god. The bus is on its way. I see a cost basis of 10. Oh, that's perfect. I love when things connect, which they do. Look at that.
So connected.
So connected, dude. 108.10, right? That would be where I'm, and the way that you're falling is giving potential bounce, right? And then the retest area or the wall is also very sexy, right? Punch through. Now, do you have like an incredible setup to the upside? Not really. You do have the potential. I hate gap ups and dip. Like, I don't hate them because if I catch them, I love it. But I don't like when you gap up like that and then you just dump. Those things are hard to move through, and they typically speak to buyers don't like that price at all, and so sellers do, and they push it down. So the fact that you've fallen underneath that 110, that would be a pretty important level for me to reclaim. And then at the same time, because of the way that you're moving down, right, it could be where you just use that, because a lot, again, big move down, big move up, right? That's range. So like inside of that range, you'll have these moves. So you could see it pop back up like into here and then start ranging. But that way you build or give yourself time to go and hit another new low. And there's a gap fill down here at 106. So last thing is uptrend. So channel there, right? You broke down into that. Ooh, beautiful. Ooh, beautiful. That gap fill is so fuckingly perfect. So this is for those of you who are new. You're going to hear me use a word called confluence, right? A confluence is just a really fancy way of saying and sounding smart that two lines run into each other. Literally, right? That floor and this dynamic trend line align. And a reasonable amount of time for that target to get hit. That's a confluence and typically creates a very strong target. Now, I would not doubt if you dip down past that gap for the gap fillers and hit cost basis at 105.89 and then try and pull yourself back up into the channel.
It has earnings too. So.
Interesting.
On Friday.
Setup looks more bearish than bullish. But until that cost basis is broken, which is the floor on the fucking 24-hour, yeah, where are you coming off? You're coming off of this giant monstrosity here. Yeah, I mean, as far as an earnings setup is concerned, hopefully this downside, right, into cost basis is what gives you the power to fucking, because you need to flip hard. And I guess with that much short, volume behind you, or that much downwards pressure, could be achieved on a strong bounce. So, but a little fishy. Weekly, well, that weekly rejection and close does not help. See a 103 target as well. When I play the downside, it's also target based as well. Where you purchase the contract on that, everything is the same. So for a lot of people, they don't like this. For some people, it make sense. But if I'm curious, and it is not easy, right? I've been doing this for a long time, so it gets easier. But if something's not making sense, right? And I want to trade it to the downside. There are no rules, by the way, right? We make the rules based off of the evidence that we find, which is a motto I live by. But inverse it. Now, does that make sense? Right? Still a box, still a floor, still a cost basis, still a channel. Right? Empty space, floor is right here, right? Bounce off the trend, bounce off of the box, right? Where does it go when it bounces? Does it gap down, refill that gap, and then move? Okay. I got 29s on K-Web Terran. And just anybody on YouTube listening back or looking to join, I do want to reiterate this, okay? Because this is extremely important to me. And not because I just want it to happen, because I know it can happen and I see it happen. I am here to help you become a master trader with the Potterbox system, right? This is an area in which, if you are agreeing to that undertaking, then you are cutting yourself off from the signals, right? Our brain is not designed to be given the answers and then trying to solve the problem. If you don't have to, you won't, right? Unless you're a psycho, which, if you are, go about your business. But this is not a signal chat, so I'm not trying to I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm doing. And it's not saying that you can't do it. My goal is for you to understand. If you don't, you're trying to run before you can walk, and you're being rewarded for it. So the minute that I leave, or the minute I'm not there, things are going to go wrong in a big way, right? Because that happens. I mean, if we swing into something and somebody comes and chops my foot off, and I go to the hospital, I don't know why that would happen, but if it did, what would you do? How would you be able to map that out on your own? So having a understanding, right? And what I'm really, if you dig into what's being explained here, if you know what I'm doing, then anything that we agree to take together, or we like, or anybody likes, is a potential signal. The only decision left, which is what signals don't do, is whether or not it fits your risk. Because we're all trying to fit into a certain area contractually, where the premiums allow us to compound. But don't put yourself in a situation where you're having to rely solely. And that's what I'm trying to help people, is that you don't have to rely on me either. You can rely on your own analysis, and I'm seeing that. I mean, strong buy, obviously, you have two good setups. And there's a lot of trades that you guys take, and if you look at the Discord, I could probably say at this point, it's like 80% of the gains that are posted in that chat are not because of me. They're because of them and what they choose to do based off of what they learn. So everybody who's new, especially, just remember that is my goal. So if you're not here and you miss it, again, that's just an opportunity for you have patience. So, and I know that I got several questions in my DMs today from people who are looking to join, probably watching on YouTube, that were basically asking the same thing. And so, and this is addressing anybody it relates to. I want you to be me, or be better, or have the same skills that everybody else here is trying to acquire. So that way you don't need anybody. You can do it on your own, which is, in my opinion, real freedom. So, all right, speech over. Alrighty. With that being said, pretty damn good day, pretty damn good week. I didn't know you could do that. I don't like that.
When I looked at Q's inverse, it looks very juicy, and I don't like it.
Wait, you don't like it, or you do like it?
I do like it. It looks good. Like the target's clear, but I don't like that. I don't like shorting stuff, man.
Now's the time. I'm sure people who, love skydiving didn't like the idea of it before it, but fuck it, right? If it's a good setup, I mean, if you see it, I mean, I see what you're saying, with this setup. It's man.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. I got 1 minute. I don't know. I'll still wait until closer to FOMC. This is what I can't, again, we're going to move. Next week, there's going to be some, 15-minute, 25, 30-minute candle that's going to probably be jaw-dropping. So, by any chance, am I going to host a PBS workshop for this? I will be doing one last one forever. I'll never do it again. After that, I'm going to be putting out the 2.0 or whatever the hell you want to call it, more refined version, straightforward version. And then I'm going to start writing this book. I'm trying to think of a title that says, fuck all the other books that were written before this. But
amazing.
Yeah. Maybe
Humble
I should
Kings.
It's more or less
Your box.
Well, it's more or less like I want people to come into this market and question things, because I didn't find this by going along with I mean, think about, like, okay, I mean, I've moved around so much and I've met so many people through this. Like, I mean, there are so many different people, right? And they have different tendencies and risk tolerance in their real lives. Some of them may be nervous, some of them might be, and they take their personalities and they go into the stock market, and all of the rules, right, are based on their reality. Like, one of the rules that first made me, not the one, but like one of the first ones where I was like, yo, okay, you know what, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, just because you have a book, idiots write books. There's some dumbass books that, like, the books do not qualify you as being smart. I think Sarah Palin wrote a fucking book. And, like, but what I'm saying is, yeah, there is going to be some dumbasses there who just write rules and stuff, and they're repeating other people's, or they're, maybe for 2 weeks, right? They keep taking this trade, and they say, they write in this book, don't take trades in between these data points. That could be an anomaly just that year or that moment. But where that guy in Trading in the Zone, or whatever it's called, he says, don't let your day trades become swing trades. I have all the proof in the world to tell you, no, that's wrong. If the setup is there, the only reason that I make money is because I adhere to the chart only. No news, no indicators, right? That's my focus. I do that for a reason. Because if I did do those things, then they would be floating around in my head. I don't like knowing when something's going to happen other than earnings. So you have a question about that chart? What's your question, Poopy Bandit? Chris, can you explain the box placement on the cues? Are you talking about right here? Why is it not here? Because this is a it's a lower time frame box that's translating to the higher time frame. It's not well, it's not. It is a box. Well, it's actually up there, right? So not a when we move into like the 24-hour, there's going to be things that look like this. And we can't. Like that's not a box on the 24-hour. Period. Right? That is, right? Oh, why? I was just about to say, why does that look like it's not a box anymore? I'm trying to flip my chart back upside down. There we go. So that is a box, and that tells me how that is broken. Right? That's the key. That is the key to breaking this. So I avoid, and this is probably a good thing for you guys to know, I avoid drawing oversized boxes. Right? With huge, like, if I see something like this, just as an FYI, I'm looking for that structure on like, okay, look, Snapchat, right? That is a weekly box. When I move it into 24-hour, I'm going to separate them. Why? Why would I separate those? Because I can see structure within it, right? Boxes, 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 all that other shit. 4-hour. Okay, now I can really start to see ranges. So the highest time frame, the weekly has the most strength, right? So like punching through a box on the weekly, you would have to look at it day by day. And so how do you solve the weekly box? You look at the structures that are within it and the empty space that it provides. And that's how you find out, okay, if this punches through, then it's going to break that weekly cost basis because there's nothing up above it. And so we would likely, that would give us the candle close that we need to call it a weekly punchback. So what translates here, right, doesn't always translate down here, right? And when you look like that, or you have such a wide range, and it doesn't say that it's not, it is. It's still a box, but it's a box here, not here, right? You're gonna basically play it separate. The cool thing about this is if you look at where cost basis would be, it's still cost basis. It's the same trigger. Lower time frame. Translates really well. You can see how it holds, right? So it doesn't make it any less important, but now you can react to lower time frame triggers to trade it. So book name, trading out of the box. Yeah, there it is. I have no idea when I'm going to do that workshop. I don't know. Well, if I do it, I need max capacity. I want everybody there. So I would maybe I wish there was, you know what, there needs to be like a software or I'm probably not even using the right word, but like a calendar where everybody could like vote on a day and I could see that visually. ChatGPT. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, Porter, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been struggling with is like drawing or placing ceilings in particular. Like I'm really good at getting the floors, and then the crawl spaces is just the middle, so that's fine. But like getting those ceilings right is something I've been struggling with.
Okay. What Do you feel like is that something that is like on the higher time frames, like just every time frame you're just struggling to find
Yeah,
your
just like on a weekly or 24.
Okay. So, and we'll use this in a couple of other examples. So when you look, right, you see like a wick here and a wick here, but there's nothing else touching, right? That's it. I want when these tops are here, I want candle close and tap, right? Tap, tap. That shows me it's almost like giving away. That is oh my, all right, hold on, time out. I got chickens in my fucking front yard. They broke out. 5 seconds. Hold on.
They're so goofy chickens. This is Hey, you guys can hear me? Yeah, my thing's moving. Real quick, we're gonna pop back out with the Sunday charting this weekend, Sunday 6 p.m. Central. I'm gonna post these tickers in like an hour. I'm gonna make the event, but I'll repost it later. The tickers will be in the Sunday charting channel too. It's just 4 of them. We're gonna take it light. I don't know if you
Yeah, Jorge. Also, you should collaborate with Potter and see what time he wants to do the earnings.
I think he does that stuff more in the morning, right?
Yeah,
He
he'll
does
do it earlier.
around 12 or 1, right? In the
Yeah.
afternoon.
So this is 6 p.m. This is just after. There's 4 tickers that we're gonna go through. Just bring the screenshots of all your boxes above and below, channels, weekly, 24-hour, 4-hour, 1 hour, and then we just compare if anyone's new and hasn't been. But
Jorge, you should probably just put that in the invite for anyone that's new.
yeah, I'm gonna make the event thing and then post that, and I'll kind of explain. But it's just we all chart and then compare our charts. We post, the 24-hour all at the same time, and you can kind of like scroll through and see how we all kind of make the boxes, which is cool because there's a lot of different, opinions, and then we talk about it. So good practice. Feel like we got to shake off some dust. I was gone for a while. Gotta get back out and chart more, man.
All right. Anyway, what the fucking chickens, dude? I'm scared somebody's gonna hit them with their car or something. All right. Anyway, a little out of breath. So another example here. Candle close, candle close, candle close, wick tap, right? So the most points of contact on these 24-hour time frames, or any time frame rather. Like let's pick out a harder one. So right here, right? Floor seems like it might be off of those wicks, or it might be the one bottom right there. And that's where if I can't see it clearly, I'll move here, right? Okay, so I can see it really clearly now. But on the 24-hour, right? Open, wick, 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 points of contact. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Chickens were calling.
Hey
All
Jeff,
right.
can you do that same thing to that chart I just dropped for UNFI?
Sure.
Maybe just check my tops there.
Check your tops. Never had another man ask me to do that, but so you're gonna bring that up, right? You want the top of that box, the primary. So right there, and I see what you're doing, right? But that ultimately would just be another resistance. And because you gap up and you fall, right? It's not an exact price point. Now, I bet you that if you were to move down, there's nothing there. Just a floor. Right? And the reason I can spot this floor, folks, right? Hold, attempt to bounce, and then this candle whips up, touches the top, and then because it opens up right at that mark, falls. So I know that even just being right there, right in that little price zone. But on the 24-hour period of the story, I would just go ahead and give it the top right there. Right? You don't, hit it on the penny, but you're maybe 10 cents away. And so although it does lack contact, the reason that I think it lacks contact is because it hasn't quite, it actually isn't done. So more than likely, you're going to see a reaction here, right? It might be momentary, but I think eventually with the way you're leaving and held that floor of 27.28, I think you can at least start moving up into the $31 area, which is just the imbalance on the wicks. But the box below you looks good. I do like the fact that you did give it the floor, tap, tap, and then we know that is like a secondary box sitting underneath you. So that looks good.
Copy you, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Any other questions, folks, before we close out the week? We will be live on Sunday. I don't think I'm unbanned I think the 28th I'm unbanned. So we've got 4 days left, but on TikTok, but on YouTube we'll be live on Sunday. I like to do them a little bit earlier, but I always like to ask, it can either be 4 or it can be 12. 4 p.m. Eastern time or 12 p.m. Type it in the chat if you want. You just see a show of hands.
I had posted 4 tickers for 6 p.m. Central Sunday.
Yeah, so 6 p.m. Central.
Is that 4 Eastern? I don't know.
No, that's after.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm ahead. I'm ahead.
Does sound better though.
New nuts.
What?
What'd you say?
I said noon does sound better.
Oh, I thought you said new nuts. Like, congrats. All right. Can I check McDonald's out? Yeah. So I gave this analysis earlier. It almost went all the way to its target. I imagine that it will go up. I have nothing to comment on this one until you get to your target of 288.69, where, like I said, this is a pretty massive box. So as I move down to the 4 hour, I can see what makes it, right? It's not just filled with hot air. It's filled with structure. And so how you break through that box will be determined by these two structures above, where I also see that. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of potential on it, but yeah, Mako, if we take Baba and it doesn't work, dude, it's Hef Baba. It's Hef Baba for the next year. Can you check out Dollar General? Yeah. We took Baba, Andy. Baba. So here's a good example, right? Do you see how this is kind of yucky? I can't really find a floor. I don't have to. 24 hour. Perfect. See how easy that was? I don't need to stress out. So remember, and I've given that speech before, so I'll save it. But if you can't see something, keep moving through the time frames. Be like water. Dollar General, I mean, you wicked off of 72.13. I would have wanted a candle close at that mark or above it. And then above you, you have a floor, and then you have a box with empty space. So your target would be around 76.44. But with the stagnant price action that you have right now, yeah, you're going to need to curl up and avoid that second rejection. So Dollar General loves to channel. I actually learned how to chart channels on Dollar General. So just a FYI there. All right, folks. We're good.
Yes, chef.
Yes, Jeff. Thanks.
All right, cool, guys. Ivy, bill me. Alex, bill me. Marzell, keep that shit to yourself, dude. No, just kidding.
Stop playing video games.
Can I pill you? Hey, yo, Diddler. That's crazy. You're really role playing here. Yep, I'll see you guys. I think we could do it at 4, and then right after that, you guys can join Jorge in his charting session with who was it? I forgot what he said. Georgie.
What?
Burge. Yeah. Burge and Jorge will be charting in the Discord as well. So lastly, again, just so nobody's messaging me asking, is it still up? The discount is closed today. So if you were trying to grab that, we're not going to be talking about it again. So, all right. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Take time off. You don't need to fucking stare at charts all weekend. Especially if you had a good week, we'll save that shit for Sunday. And yep, I'll be in the game channel at some point. Peyton's busy. She doesn't hang out with me right now.
Yes, chef.
All right. Peace out.